Everybody, alright, today we're gonna do a build on the Wotofo Serpent RTA. It is a single coil build RTA, and it's a pretty good RTA. It actually is one of the better single coil flavor RTAs out there. It has a few downsides to it. It can't be taken fully apart, so it really sucks when you have to clean it. If you want to try to get a real good clean in it, you need like a sonic cleaner, or you spend a lot of time running a lot of water in and out of it if you want to get a real good clean on it. And the second downside is if you ever do break the glass, you're pretty much out the RTA altogether. So those are probably the two downsides. One of the good things about this RTA is it has a juice flow control on it. So for those of you that go from high PG to high VG juices, you can adjust the juice flow to accommodate that. And you can also shut the juice flow all the way off for when you're taking, or not taking, but refilling. It's a top fill RTA, and when you're refilling, if you shut the juice flow and the airflow off, you're minimizing your leakage, essentially. So as long as the RTA is wicked properly, you won't have any leaks whatsoever on this atomizer. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip the camera around, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you the atomizer. We'll get a good look at it. I'll show you the three parts of it, how it works, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into the build. Alright, so as you can see, the atomizer comes into three different parts. You have your top fill cap, which has a 510 removable drip tip, so it will fit almost any drip tip that you want to put on it. And this is the cap, the top fill cap. You have your complete base, or complete, I guess, everything. This is the bells and whistles of the whole thing. It will not break down any further than this. You cannot take the glass out, you cannot take the chimney out, you cannot take anything out whatsoever of the main piece or housing of this atomizer. And then you have your build deck. Build deck does not come off the 510 base. You have your 510 pin and your build deck. It's a fairly big build deck, but as you can see, the different build deck has some, because the post holes are actually canted. They are diagonal, and that is to set up your coil in the proper direction for these massive juice wells that are drilled out here. And it isn't really, I won't say hard to build on, it's just different. So once you start building on it and get used to these canted post holes, it really is simple to build on. The post holes are about 2 millimeters, so you can get anything from about 20 gauge Canthal wire up to about a 2-wire fuse Clapton in here. Yeah, it's really nice. So one thing I will show you, I'll go ahead and screw it together real fast and show you one quick thing. If you can see inside here, I'll try to get as close as possible. If you screw this top ring, as you spin it, the chimney will go down and up. on the inside there, and that is your actual juice flow control. And then your top fill cap will go on in the middle of that. So it's two different things. So a lot of people, they'll get this and they'll start spinning that chimney thinking that that's how you unscrew it to get to the top fill, and that's not it. The top fill is actually the middle portion, and the wider ring that spins is how you adjust the juice flow. So today we are going to be building a twisted 26 gauge titanium wire build. It's going to have a 2mm inner diameter, and it's going to come out hopefully to about a 0.25 ohm. It's going to be 11 wraps. So we are going to grab our wire. We need to have about 2 strands of about 8 inches or so wire. Once you have that, take them, make sure they're even, line them out. Cut off the excess. Get your drill. And we're just going to twist this wire up. Of course, I always have issues with my drill on all my videos, and it never fails. Alright. Once you get your wires secure, you're going to pull them tight, get all the tension out, take your pliers at the ends, while maintaining tension. And you're just going to spin. That's about good for me. I don't want to spin it too much. A lot of people say to spin it till it breaks and blah blah blah, but with titanium it's really springy, so you never know when it's gonna break, if it's gonna start coming back on itself or what. So I just let it get nice and tight on itself, and then if it breaks, fine. If it doesn't break, it's no big deal. Alright, so I got my Coil Master jig here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do 11 wraps. 2mm inner diameter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, like I said, these canted posts can be a little bit of a pain, but you'll get used to building on them. What I usually do is I'll insert my small post or my small lead first, and then once I get that one in, I will work my longer lead in. You can either use pliers or your hands, whatever's easier for you. I'm using pliers because of this lead, so it's a little bit longer, but there's no like real big methodology or whatever big word you want to insert there. There's no real way to do it. And then you just tighten down your grubs. We'll get our rod back out. Make sure she's centered and lined up with our juice holes. See that? And that's about as good as we're gonna get it with before firing. And then once we fire, we'll start squashing it and fiddling with it, getting it nice and tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place it on the RX 200 that I recently picked up. And I'll tell you what, this Serpent looks really nice on this RX 200. Alright, so we're gonna take her, I don't want her at 56, that's for sure. Take her down to about 20. A lot of people say don't let it burn red. I don't really care. I don't let it burn red for a long time, but I will let it get there so I can mold it. They say beware of the gases. Once you see that pretty blue color, you can start molding it. And then I will pulse it and get it up, and just make sure that it's gonna glow red inside to out, and it is. So I do not need to do any more fiddling because it is right where I need it to be. So wicking is actually really easy as well. Oops. Wipe out. Get back centered. So we will get our cotton. We will cut. And cut. And then all we're gonna do is just shape her up. So what I like to do is I like to push her down in the hole, and then I just lay my scissors down at a 45-degree angle. Is I'll push the cotton into the juice channel, and then once I get it in the juice channel, I will lay my scissors at a 45-degree angle, and I'll just cut. And that trims away a lot of the unnecessary wick on the outside of the coil, because honestly you don't need all of the wicking material. You're just using this cotton to clog up the juice channel so that you don't have leaks, especially on a single coil. Now when you get to your dual coils, then yes, the more cotton the better. But not like an extreme amount, but you don't have to trim as much off like you're doing on these. But the less cotton on these, you get a whole lot more flavor. So let's see what we got. We're looking pretty good. So we will go ahead and we'll start saturating our cotton. Always do the coil first, and since it's a twisted coil, you want to make sure you give it a little bit more extra love than you would normally, just to make sure you penetrate it and get the cotton within the inside of it. And then you'll saturate your leads. You don't want to oversaturate your cotton initially. You're just getting enough on there so that it doesn't dry burn. And with this being titanium in the first place, it's not really gonna, you're not really gonna be worrying about it being a dry burn, because we're gonna be temperature control all the way. So we got vapor. So let's go ahead and we'll get our chimney and everything else assembly. Let's make sure we fit, and it looks like we do. That's a plus. And we're sitting at 0.29. Still at 0.29, so we are almost perfect at our ohms. I'm going to go ahead and close the juice channels. Fill it up. Alright, let's turn her around. Let's see how she vapes. Just got done building her, and we're currently got her at 0.29 ohms. We're going to try a 40 watt vape at 500 degrees, so let's see what we can do here. I need to open our juice channels back up. Don't forget to do that once you get her filled up. Excellent flavor, very dense warm vapor. Now of course on my RX200 I had to mess with the TCR settings because I wasn't getting enough warm vapor out of the regular TI mode. But to each their own. You can do what you will with your temperature controlled devices. But yeah, the Serpent is very good single coil RTA, and I highly recommend it. For $40, you really can't beat it. So hope you enjoyed the build video, and hopefully you learned something. So thanks for watching, and as always, be happy and vape on.